The Real Angler Podcast with community Kevin Brannon is brought to you by Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. Built to look good and be tough. Promar and Ahi USA. Premium fishing products and accessories with concepts developed by passionate anglers. Channel Island Sport Fishing. Offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats. And more. Mossy Oak. From hot days in the water to sweltering afternoons in the woods, we've got you covered. Outfit your obsession. The Latino Business Expo, Ventura County's largest networking event. Special thanks to Bruce at Kirby Subaru in Ventura. It's the Real Angler Show, live here on Rough Edge FM. And now, here's your host, Kevin Brannon. Hey, this is the Real Angler Podcast, and I'm sitting here with Kevin Brannon, who is hero of the...
Heroic Kev.
Of the year for the city of Port Hueneme. So,
PH made Barry proud.
Dude,
right?
That is awesome.
You're very, 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 very proud.
That is big news. That is really, really cool. So congratulations, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's funny because we do get a lot of awards and plaques and stuff in here. And it's funny, I told, we had some city council members from, or not city council, it's our legislators, right? Stephen Bennett's office, and they came in to check out the Learning Center. So I was like, why you guys have you're writing me these little plaques? Why don't you slide a check underneath it, that pin out, and kind of support the program, like you say, we're gonna. That was just a for instance, but we do get a lot of plaques and recognition, and that's not what we normally do it for. But there are a couple that are near and dear to my heart, and to be the Port Hueneme hero where I come from. We're over 100 years of Brannonism, we call it. I put the years together probably like about 3 months ago. I was getting off the 101. Off the PCH off the 1, and my grandma used to party at a place called the Missile Stop down with soldiers back in the roaring 20s. And that's where a lot of our family trauma, as far back as I can date it, when my great grandma used to bring home drunk dudes from the bar to the house. And one story is my grandpa, this guy that my great grandma brought home was trying to put his hands on my great aunt. So, drunk and trying to touch her. And my grandpa kind of got in the mix to deter him from touching his sister, standing up for her, right? So the dude went out to the porch and blew his brains out.
Wow.
On the porch, yeah. And my grandma my great grandma made my grandpa clean it up. So we've been dealing with alcoholism and demons.
It's not funny,
right?
But...
And then down the street from there, my grandfather actually ran the duck hunting club off of Hueneme Road, off Casper and Hueneme Road. They used to take out Uncle Herb and the Malharts, like all these big names that you hear throughout Oxnard. My grandfather used to run the duck hunting club off of Hueneme Road. And then my aunt had another club that was there, another ranch that they ran. And then off of Olds Road, we lived right there with my aunt and uncle. And then we lived, the Hueneme sport fishing's at the end of Port Hueneme Road, where me and my mom both worked out on the port. She worked at Del Monte. I worked on sport boats where we started the fishing program. So literally 100 years we've been off of Hueneme Road. And so to be rooted in our community so deeply and getting that award yesterday in Port Hueneme, it's funny I said that because it was at the city hall where the police station was at. And, I wasn't there and I wasn't in custody. Even the cop said it, he's like, look, we got your picture taken and it's not your mugshot. So, it was kind of neat. It was a thing. But then that's why I was talking about, was glorifying God in this because, when I was broken and I'm still, dealing with stuff, is that I try to use the Holy Spirit, to be a servant, man, and to just love on others and to care. I'm not philosophical when it comes to knowing all the biblical part. I'm not a doctrine and can recite so many verses, but a few of them, like he who seeks wise counsel is the righteous man, and the fool is a believer in his own mind, or the slave is the borrower is a labor to the borrower is a servant to the lender. So there are some principles, but just being a servant, man. And the West Coast Christian anglers that I worked with at Calvary Chapel of Oxnard, they did something what's called I changed my man laws, meaning that, when you're growing up in the hood, there's this thing called if you're down. You ever been a problem of if you're down? Hey, are you down for that? Are you down? And we say these things called the if you're downs. And those are what, taking chances as a kid growing up like that. We did plenty of things if we were down. And again, maybe that's why you get busted. But when I seen what these men were doing, what they were down for, how they took care of their wives, or how they serve people. They serve guys from the rescue mission, and they did the kid fishing days at Lake Casitas, and it was just a ministry for me to get into and stick around and see what servancy and love look like, man. And then here we are today getting this award. And also people that showed up like Melissa Baffa that got me into Ventura County Leadership Academy when people seen leadership skills. To another story, one time when I was getting the proclamation for the the Port Hueneme Chamber of Commerce, where I was on board of director, one of my first mentors, Chuck Morgan, was telling me that he brought me to the meeting so the city council could get familiar with my face as I was a board of director, and he shushed me in a meeting and asked him to come out to the into the lobby so I could tell him never to shush me in public again. So
you want to step outside?
Yeah, my pride and ego is still something I'm working on right now, and as we grow in this and level up, that is something. I'm reading a book right now called The Ego Is Your Enemy, and looking at how emotionally I am in it when you're a business owner and you got to worry about paying bills, and you got to make, especially in nonprofit where you don't sell a tangible object to bring in revenue, and you got to kind of go out and I don't say this, not maybe panhandle, again, pride of how I ask for funds and donations, but the Lord provides, and also how we don't have to compromise kind of what we believe in to take funding from somebody that we don't want to. All of our partners that we have are pretty much partners that we select, that they're with the same mission that we are. Some of them might be a little bit of environmental awareness that we're a part of, and some things we're not extreme environmentalists, even though we teach about environmental ship with the stewardship through the Guppy Outdoors and Real Anglers Fishing Show. So there's just so many things that I could look at, and again, nobody's perfect. I'm not saying that, and I hope you don't, I'm not, but what I'm saying is that by using some of those ethical principles that I learned in the church, the different if you're downs have paved the way to where we're at. Even the people that come into our lives, like a Melissa Baffa, like a Chuck Morgan, like Scotty here on the podcast, of people that come in, our team of Real Anglers Fishing Show, Real Guppy Outdoors, and the people that we have. And not everybody works out, right? Because I know I'm strong-minded in my head on where we're going, where the vision is at. And when you have strong faith, people are going to look at you crazy, like, you can't pull that off or whatever. It's like, well, I pair to differ. Get off the seat. Let me handle, like Nipsey said, and I'm going to come with that energy. Even though I still might cuss a little bit, and I'm working on some things. But again, just so anybody that's listening, I just want to tell you that God can use anybody, your circumstance. I used to blame them and be like, why am I in this situation? And so when I talk to people, and maybe you don't know what it's when you grow up in a hopeless situation, it's hard to have hope and faith, right? But as you start to get a little bit of it, then you might have a little bit more strong faith, and that's kind of like the fishing, right? You build your confidence, you learn how to tie a hook, and then you learn how to bait it, and then you learn how to cast it, and then you learn how to catch a fish, and then you'll lose a couple, right? And then you get to harvest that, right? And a lot of what we talk about in that lifestyle is the harvest season, right? Life's going to go through seasons, and fishing has seasons, right? It's windy sometimes, and we can't get off the dock, and it's got 45 people, and you're ready to go make some money, and the boat gets canceled because of the weather, and that's just the season that we're in. And how do you deal with those seasons, right? So having faith and not worry and not having anxieties that I get as a business owner, as a nonprofit guy, when it comes time to pay bills, or which contracts do we might get. And one thing, Scotty, that I'll say to that is, like, when I do pray for some of these contracts, is that I'm always putting that I'm going to serve with it. It's not, hey, I'm going to be able to live the lifestyle that I want to live in Southern California, which is part of it, because you can make a lifestyle with your value, but making sure that I'm not submitting applications thinking about just the dollar amount, that it's actually, that's going to help us serve more people and check in the heart,
I think anybody who knows you knows that to be the truth. So
that's what the truth is. That's what I mean,
yeah.
Right? They say the truth. And when you do that, again, sometimes you might sound a little weird of that, but that's what faith is, man. So I just wanted to share that part, the excitement of having it, who was in the building. We had half of it dedicated to us in there, shared it with another guy named George, that does a lot of servant work too, that doesn't look for the notoriety, but the city actually nominated, and the people in the city nominated people for this award. And it was kind of cool when you go to Facebook and people are tagging us because they want to know who's that guy that takes the kids fishing. Again, they don't even know who I am.
They do it now.
But they see the pictures and maybe a Facebook post, or when you drive on a 4th Sunday, you could see that the pier is halfway filled up, and the parking lot is halfway filled by the pier, because they must be Kevin and them, or the Guppy guys up there, because it's Sunday and half the pier is full. No matter what season, it could be October, November. Oh, actually, November, December, we don't come on. It could be March, April, May, June. Not just summer, and we're bringing it down. So getting to see George and myself both receive that award was pretty neat, because the people in the community, ones that nominated us, and they thought 2 cool people, they could share the award. And so we both got up there and again gave some good speeches. And I wanted to dedicate mine to my mom, which I did in my post. But as I started talking about my mom, who passed away 2 years ago, letting me work on boats and believing in me and knew my learning curve and knew how much I love being on the boat and that I was safe out there the days I was on the water. She didn't have to worry about me. And that sort of stuff that I wanted to dedicate it to her. So I gave it to my mom because that way I should think about her son out there causing ruckus or whatever, Mr. O-Dog in the streets of Hueneme, that, look, Mom, we did it, man. We accomplished it. I wish she would have been there to share it with me, but I know she was there in spirit. And again, just wanted to dedicate it to her. But when I got to that part of my speech, I definitely started to short out the microphone with my tears. So I wrapped it up there and just gave God glory and shout out to the neighborhood, made the set proud, because there's a lot of Hueneme boys in there. When you grow up in this area, in this environment, in South Oxnard, and a lot of us, we used to hang out, watching each other. Like we say, we were raised by wolves. But then I told my friend, but you could be domesticated though, man. We got to live like this no more, I know it made a lot of the people of the city of Port Hueneme, my friends, and just people to see how far we've come, I've come, and in this little city. I mean, it was packed, Scotty. Like there was.
I saw the pictures on Facebook. It was awesome.
But there was also some other cool stuff there. There was the city. We have the Hueneme Beach Festival this Sunday, so they had some schools in there that were some students from schools that showcased their artwork all over, for a poster contest. So 4 students were chosen in a blind contest to be supported in their poster for the Hueneme Day. There's a new police officer from the city of Port Hueneme. There was actually 2. The first one was a guy, I think Luis was his name, and then second was we have a new canine cop that came in and kind of stole the show when they brought in the hound dog.
Of course,
and that got some photos. So there was just a really cool vibe in the city of Port Hueneme, man, with locals and police officers and students. And then also the Parks and Recs got recognition because of the great summer series that they did from Movies in the Park. We had at the beach, we had the Rams just Sunday or Monday, Memorial Day. They were at the Hueneme Beach giving out swag, having community engagement. And there's just a pretty cool buzz in this era, man, of bringing families together and the different ways of collaborative efforts, man. If we all share our resources, which is another cool thing about being in Port Hueneme, Scotty, is that, this is Chumash territory. It was called the Resting Place Hueneme. And even though we have a port here that ships out cargo throughout the world, that other tribes would meet here and they would ship between the Sespes and the Chumash and others where they would rest, trade their commerce, right? And then go back to their tribes and their land. So to make, again, a collaborative effort on these worlds. And even with the port, one of our favorite partners of how they reach all over the world globally, man. Ventura County Office of Education. Let's see who this is. This is Kev. Heroic Kev.
Hey, Kev. This is Karina. I'm calling with Gateway.
What up? Hey, Karina, I'm doing my podcast right now live. Can I call you right back?
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. This is real TV right here, man. So you're on the podcast live. Hey, I got the Hero of the Year yesterday. I got the 2021. Yeah, so we're doing a recap on that right now. A quick little 15-minute recap of last night's meeting and stuff. So Heroic Kev, I'm going by today. Yes, ma'am. A Gateway student. Hear that? Hey, Gateway Community High School is putting out heroes, okay?
Oh, you got it. We sure do.
That's right.
Nothing but the best.
That's right. Monarch for life, baby. All right, I'll call you back in a minute, okay?
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
That's my high school, Gateway Community High School. That's where I went. That's where all the riffraff go,
That's there at the airport?
It's at the airport, So we're going to take them out fishing. Marshall, put on your calendar, too. We're taking Gateway out, I think, the 25th of this month, man. It's Thursday.
Cool.
So, yeah, Wednesday I go to their campus and do a little talk, again, a little motivational speech to their 7th and 8th graders, and then they're going to take them fishing on the next day. So we're expanding, again, going full circle. Talk about full circle. Now these schools are calling me back to come in there and give motivational speeches and inspirational speeches to the same high school that I went to, which is considered, a school where you would put you've already been expelled from other schools. I got to go there, though, because, again, my mom let me. My brother went there when he got out of the youth authority because he had to make up credits, and my brother was getting into more scuffles and getting busted for it. Where I get, I'm not trying to gloat, but the stuff that I kind of was involved in, praise God, I didn't.
You didn't get caught?
I didn't get caught. And again, I'm not trying to joke with that. I'm just saying, again, the Lord must have had a bigger plan for me, man. But so my brother went to Gateway, and my mom really liked their school programming. And so when I could go to independent study and work on the boats and go to Gateway, they let me go there as a Gateway student. And then when I went back to Hueneme High School, I found myself not going to school again because, again, I'm academically challenged. I'd rather be at the beach or fishing, so I guess it paid off for me. But my mom, again, wrapping it full circle of her looking out for me in my best interest. That's why I wanted to dedicate the award to her last night, because she let me go to continuation school, independent study, and be on the water And again, now it's my school. They just called right now for me to come back.
That's perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Spot, right? See how God worked, man?
I did. I like that.
I mean?
Yep, that was very good.
What you got, Scotty? What you
Well, I
working
just
on,
wanted
man?
to say that we were supposed to have a guest today. We were supposed to have Jim Nickel from Nickel Insurance, but we had some technical problems, so we couldn't do it. So we're doing this brief video here because we had to talk about Kevin getting Hero of the Year.
Heroic
news.
Kev, community heroic Kev of the day. And you know what? And one thing about that, let me just throw it in there, man. I ain't polished, you know. I know I get stubborn sometimes, but as an inventor, you got to get stubborn. You know what I mean? You got to believe in you, man. You got to believe. Even if people have doubt or their own things that they want to place on you or who you can be, man, you got to have belief in you. And sometimes if you're strong-minded, you seem like, oh, you just strong and you don't No, I don't. And that's okay. When you're when you're trying to chase your dream, again, as an inventor, I listen to a lot of cool books, audio books, and like the one, it was... Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, and what they did to Ford, you know, when he was trying to come up with his car building, and they tried to say he had a third-grade education. Again, wise counsel. He's the one that surrounded himself with smart people, so that if he needed something to go to, he had him on his. He told them when they were trying to prosecute him and say, "Hey, you don't have the intelligence to do this." He said, "But I could push a button on my desk." And I could call who I need to call. It's called a cabinet. You got a cabinet around you of people that you could go to. And you don't need everybody's opinion. That's another thing. People think that they got a right to give you an opinion. You don't need everybody's opinion. You don't need all that. If you believe in what you're doing ethically is right, and it doesn't rub everybody the wrong way, and you're strong-minded, that's what they thought was crazy, man. Einstein, all you crazies, the Wright brothers, you crazy. You got to be a little crazy to be an inventor, right? You remember what was Beauty and the Beast with the crazy dad, right? Crazy Maurice. Right. Oh, crazy Maurice, right? Because he was a thinker and a tinker, man. And if you want to be a thinker and a tinker, there's going to be, what's that called? Especially if you're a thinker. Oh, they don't like thinkers. Oh my God, he's going to mobilize them. He's giving them He's giving them thought. He hasn't believing in themselves. Hush them up. Be a little quiet, Kev. We don't need all that. We don't need them mobilizing. We need to keep them dumb and stupid, and then we can just control them, right? And when you're a thinker, man, and a tinker, you're gonna get that. But don't let that discourage you. You know, you get the support from the ones that are going to support you regardless. Some people are gonna take that and think that it's a bad thing. But again, as long as you're doing it where you feel ethically and righteous, and as you continue to grow that, you know, you'll see the blessings that come, and stay true, you know, on your compass. Right, Scotty?
Yeah, and that's the perseverance there is the key word too. I mean, that's one of the things that you've always done. Just like you've said no to people that you didn't want to do business with, but you persevere until you find the people you do want to do business with.
Hey, 10 years it took us to get to Eagle Claw Hook. I didn't go to I talked to Mustad Hook, because we do use Mustad hooks here too, but my heart was with Eagle Claw. From the eagle on my arm, to the history of the fishing, to the old packs with the old man on the front, Tenny. We worked on them, and we'd run into them, and they would change. Another contact person is this person. This person moved out and elevated. But then when you go to iCast and you see him at Bart Hall, and then you get home and there's a box 2 days later from iCast because you got with them. Again, we didn't compromise. We kept to where we were at. We made that plain to them. And again, it takes that time of perseverance to say, I'm going to stick to this. And then when it happens, you're not like surprised. Let me give you another analogy before we go, Scotty. Muhammad Ali, that's kind of my style, right? He tells you he's going to dance like a butterfly and sting like a bee. And then when he wins the belt, they're like, oh my God, you won. And he's like, I told you I was going to win. I trained to win. I ran in the morning. I did my sit-ups. Again, you might like have his in your face confidence, right? In that book that I'm reading, The Ego is Your Enemy, they talk about your confidence versus your, I'll think of the word in a second, but making sure you're not cocky, but it is a confidence. And when you do have a certain amount of wins, even though I don't like the Patriots, right? But there was a Patriot way, right? Because they became to give confidence in their ability to win. You're never out of the game when you got Tom Brady. And Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. So all the sleepers, all the know-it-alls, all the critics, all the Mel Kipers, right? Slept on dude. And look at his team knew that no matter what, if you got time left on the clock, you got a chance to win. And that scared the opponent. Dang, they got Tom Brady. They got Bill Belichick. They got the hoodie over there. And the hoodie, again, cut off sleeves, hoodie on his head. Didn't have to answer all the questions at the press conference, but they delivered championships, man. So again, sometimes delivering championships, you ain't got to be all, that way. And I'm just saying that, through God, when I'll bring it full circle with my confidence, is that I have strong faith. We wouldn't be where we're at today if I wasn't a very faithful man, and knowing that just keep serving and keep serving and keep serving. The more you get, the more you give, and believe in it. And again, the last thing is a guy that went to continuation high school, to know that I have my own learning curves is to break down those barriers and say, hey, I need help over here. Again, where you get your opinion and your counsel is important. Wise counsel. Not everybody's an opinion. You know who to go to your cabinet that we talked about with him and saying, hey, and again, I'm just following other dudes from 100 years ago that had the same adversities that decided to knock those things down. They didn't let that hamper their ability, because you see fours all over the road right now, right? Because he didn't let them deter them from telling him that he wasn't wise enough or smart enough. He was wise enough and smart enough to build a cabinet of those around him to get the wise counsel from and ask them for help, just like fishing. If you don't know how to tie your dropper loop, you ask Kev. I'll tie your dropper loop, but I'm going to show you how to bait your hook so that you can bait your own. So when it gets chaotic out here, you're not waiting for Kev to bait your hook. You're going to confidently walk over to the sink. You're going to grab a piece of bait and you're going to hook it yourself and you're going to cast it. And then you're going to be yelling, Team Kev, because you're going to catch a fish. And then we get to share that experience. And that's basically development, man. And a lot of people's development is where I got to today to give me that faith that mixed with God. So that's it. How was that, Scotty?
That was beautiful. It was perfect. It was just what we needed. I wanted to just do a little bit here. Now, next week, you're going to Gateway on Wednesday?
Next week? No, the week after. Next week, we have Lola. She'll be in here. We just did the HR firm, so she's going to be here, a guest speaker on the 21st. She's our guest speaker, our third series speaker, and our interns helped put together this great flyer for her. She's going to talk about her book, in which she's doing a little show and tell, and then I'm going to be grilling some fish outside, and they make tortillas with her book. Well,
it's going to be a good event.
About that's part of the book. I don't want to give it away. Is that she brought in tortillas to make, and that was her show and tell. So they're going to make tortillas after the book, and then I'm going to have some fish grilled up here. So I'm going to be grilling and chilling and fellowshipping and breaking bread and doing our community, again, those collaborational efforts that we do right here at the Guppy Dockside Learning Center. And that's who's going to be on our podcast next week, Lola. I don't want to give out her real name. That's her storytelling name, and that's it right there, Real Angler Network. And then we're going to be highlighting the Blue Carpet premiere as well too. For the look at that, look at them logos. Real Angler Network presents. Real Angler Network presents. Bam, baby. A show never maybe. What's happening?
That's it. All right, so we'll see you next week with Lola. I'm looking forward to that, being a writer myself, so I'm looking forward to talking to her.
That's right. Scotty's a writer too, so we got to have author. We got 3 writers going to be in here that day.
That's
Children book author, Scotty's an author, and another children book, Lola's going to be here, man. Again,
3 scribes. We'll be sitting right there.
That's what's up, man. That's fellowship and breaking bread and figuring out how we could make maneuvers together. Okay, so if you got anything holding you back or slowing you down or stopping you, look for collaborative efforts. Ask for help, the right help. And, like Hulk Hogan, say your prayers, and again, that's just how I do it. I'm not here to preach God to nobody. I'm just saying we help Kevin out, how you get there, but just don't be fearful, man. Be faithful in what you do and what God's given you, and go out and dominate, man.
Have Barry take us out.
Let's go.
Perfect. See you next week. The Real Angler Podcast with community Kevin Brannon is brought to you by Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. Built to look good and be tough. Promar and Ahi USA. Premium fishing products and accessories with concepts developed by passionate anglers. Channel Islands Sport Fishing. Offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats. And more. Mossy Oak. From hot days in the water to sweltering afternoons in the woods, we've got you covered. Outfit your obsession. The Latino Business Expo, Ventura County's largest networking event. Special thanks to Bruce at Kirby Subaru in Ventura. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.